All right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Determination Determines Destination podcast. I'm your host, Sid Owsley. And today I have with me my guest, Ine Obe. For the past almost 3 decades, Ine Obe has enjoyed a successful career in human resources for most of the most recognizable global corporate organizations, but increasingly felt a pull in her heart to do something more meaningful and impactful. So in January 2020, she answered the call and discovered her gift, which she is on a mission to serve the world. It inspires women to gain clarity, develop a renewed sense of purpose, and design the next chapter of their life so that they can be authentic and say, "This is me." Welcome, NA.
Hello, Sid. Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. Thank you.
It's great to have you. Great to have you. So, NA, share your story of using the 3Ds to success. Determination determines destination in your life to arrive at the destination you're at in your life now.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sid. So, for a long time in my life, Sid, if I can be honest with you, I didn't have the determination. The reason being I didn't have the courage. I didn't have the courage. I didn't have the trust. I didn't know myself. So I couldn't possibly be determined. And that's why it's so great to be here with you today to show my journey of how I overcame that. For many years, I worked in the corporate world, as you rightly said, and I felt stuck. I felt stuck. I felt unfulfilled. I felt I had to do something more meaningful, something with more impact, and to leave a legacy. But as I said, I didn't have the courage to step out. Why? Because I had expectations, or what I perceived to be expectations on me, a lot of which I actually put on me. It wasn't even as though, I was forced into them. I adopted them as I went through my journey of life. And I've met so many women who are like that. They get to a point in their lives, they're at a crossroad, and they're thinking, I don't know what to do next.
Uh,
Some have a stalling career,
mhm,
some have a successful career.
mhm,
Some have been mothers, they've raised the children have now left home. Some are overcoming a setback, they're trying to get back up after a setback.
mhm.
Whatever the reason, the outcome is the same. They feel stuck, they feel unfulfilled, they're lacking meaning. They know that there's more, they know that there's more, but they don't know what that looks like or how to even go about finding it.
Yeah.
And that's where I was. That's exactly the life I lived until this year, January of 2020, when I had a huge awakening, a rude awakening, even. When I looked in the mirror one day, I looked in the mirror on the 29th of January, I'll never forget that day. And I said, enough, enough. You need to get up and find yourself and do something that is authentically you. You need to do you. And that's one of my mantras, do you. So that's how I built determination. It kind of was just thrown at me, as I said, when I looked in the mirror. And I went in search of myself, and I have fallen in love, I have to say, honestly, fallen in love with who I have become and who I continue to become. And that's my mission. That's my purpose, to show women in midlife that there is more. If you feel there's more, if you feel there's more in your heart, it's because there is more. That's your heart speaking to you to say, do more, be more, know yourself, love yourself. And that's my mission. And as Les Brown says it, you can't love, hope, and inspiration are like perfume. You can't put some on others without getting some on yourself.
Yeah.
So not only am I getting to serve my mission, not only am I getting to serve my purpose by inspiring and empowering women to find their purpose, I'm also discovering myself in the process. Isn't that wonderful? That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's great. It's great. So you answered the call in your heart that you had at the beginning of the year. This year has been a year of transition for a lot of people, for everyone. It's transition in some way
Yeah,
or another. Some, for some it's been
yeah,
a very hard transition, and for others
yeah,
it's been an awakening. Even in the midst of this COVID pandemic,
Yeah,
it's been an awakening, and that seems to have happened to you, you know. And so,
absolutely.
with the call that you've answered, what are your plans for this? What are you doing with this?
Okay, great question. So I have actually, in the meantime, since I joined the Power Voice group, which is where obviously you and I met, I have developed a program and a course, and I do coaching as well. So what it is, Sid, is, as I said, women in midlife who are looking at their lives and they're going, what am I meant to do with my life? Or even, is this it? Or, as I like to put it, now what? My program is to help those women go from now what to saying, this is me. This is where they find themselves. They remove the cloaks, the burden of expectations that they've carried all along, and they discover themselves, and they are able to live a true, authentic life that's theirs. That's what I've been doing since.
That's great. That's great. So far, what have been your big wins in your discovery, your answering your call, and creating this course, and being in the Power Voice course? What have been your big wins?
One big win that I cannot possibly not mention, probably my biggest win, Sid, is being given the opportunity to be on Les Brown's September summit.
Mhm.
That was huge for me.
Yeah, that
It
was
was
great.
particularly huge because I'd only joined the program 2 months before.
Hmm.
And when I joined the program, it was because I answered a call in my heart.
Hmm.
So for me, then getting the message that I have been selected to speak at the summit was, for me, it was bigger than the summit. It was honestly like a bolt from above saying, you're home, you found yourself.
Hmm.
I saw it as a huge
Great.
message from above. So it meant more to me than just the physical being on the virtual. It wasn't even physical, than the virtual being on the platform. It was a huge revelation for me.
That's
That's my
great.
biggest win.
Biggest one. That's awesome.
Yeah,
To hear that. That's,
yeah,
this the opportunity that we have
yeah,
come into by being in Les Brown's Power Voice course
yeah.
has transformed so many of us. Has helped so many of us to find our story, be able to share it, and just find a new and better purpose in life. So I'm glad that has happened for you.
Absolutely. And obviously meeting you all as well, meeting all the wonderful people in the Power Voice group. I can't say how happy I am to be part of that wonderful family of support, of encouragement, of love, and just helping each other along. That's also been really great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for being part of that.
Glad to be part of it. It's like you
Yeah.
said, it's a powerful group of people. We've all come together to support each other in our endeavors, to support each other in making things better as much as we can, in using our own creativity, different avenues. And I'm glad that you found that, answered your call, and you're
Yeah.
on your journey of self discovery and sharing that with other people.
So I'm really glad to be on this journey. And every day, Sid, I'm going to share something with you. I work ridiculously long hours. I'm up working till 4, 5 a.m. every morning. And I've had my husband and a really good friend of mine seriously worried about me because they say you're just not sleeping enough. But I'm going to share something with you. The joy I have, the joy I have found.
Uh,
I almost don't want to go to bed. I only go to bed because I know my body needs sleep. But I'm just happy to carry on because I love it so much. So I'm
so
just
it's
so
not work.
happy.
It doesn't feel like
And
work.
it's not work. Exactly. It's not work. It's like a hobby. It's like
Yeah.
I'm writing. I've only just finished writing my book, um, doing my program, and every day it's like a new day to do something wonderful with my life and to make a difference. And I've never had this feeling before, Sid. I haven't.
That is great.
Yeah.
I can hear the passion and the joy in your voice.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is, it's addictive and it's
Yeah.
contagious.
It is. It is. It
Yeah,
is both of those
it's
things.
contagious.
Addictive and contagious. I like those words. It's exactly those things. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. So your husband and your family members, you have to what they call it, crowd infection.
They've given up
Make
now.
light of not to make light of the COVID situation, but if you're going to get infected, to get infected with what you have, the joy of what you're doing, the joy of your journey and your story.
Indeed. And you've actually touched on something important. So obviously 2020 has been a difficult year for so many people. And yet 2020 has been such a great year for so many people. The juxtaposition of that is mind blowing.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder whether we had to go through this to kind of just set the reset button on life. And it's an awful time, obviously, for people who've, lost loved ones, who've lost friends, who've lost their jobs. And there are no words of comfort that I can possibly offer because I haven't been there, apart from to say it's such a huge devastation, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But yet, even with that, so many people, as I say, have said, I'm sorry it's happened, but for me, I've done so much good.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been able to help people, and it's about learning to control what's happening to you, and control how you react to what's happening to you, to see the opportunity in what's happening to you. And I think that's where the real power lies. And that's what 2020 has allowed a lot of us to be able to do. Find the opportunity in the challenge or the disaster.
You said you used the phrase reset, and that's exactly right. Do you think that with this situation, this reset, as you say, because it looks like a lot of things are being reset on many different levels. People are resetting themselves personally. Some financial things are happening. There's going to be some type of reset, something different politically.
Yeah.
And so do you think that people, have are looking at this and looking at their priorities in life and thinking about what is really important to them during this time? Is that something that you feel like is happening?
Yes. So I think, Sid, because the pandemic and the effects of the pandemic are ongoing. I think if the pandemic had been a 6-week thing, it would have just been literally a blip, and people would have been, it would have been easier to forget about it and to move on. But it's lasted, what, 9 months? And it's still ongoing. And I think that really, the time has forced people to just stop and reassess their priority. I mean, when you can't, I mean, in the UK, we were locked down for 3 months between March and July. When you're forced to sit in your home in a physical space with your family for weeks on end, it forces you to press that reset button. You haven't got a choice. And to reprioritize and to review your goals and to review your life and to just say, what's important to me? What is really important to me? And I think, as I said before, I think that's where the power lies. I think it's about us going inwards and finding the power within us to control how we feel and how we manage what's going on outside. So it's looking from, and I think this is again something that Les Brown says, you don't look from the outside in, you look from the inside out. That's where the power is. Right. So if
Right.
and sorry, to answer your point in a short sentence, I think the length of the pandemic, I think because it went on for so long, we've all been forced to do that. Yes. At least I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems that way, you know. So challenges, what are some challenges you've had in life and during this particular time in your discovery of your of answering your call? What have been the challenges you've had that you've overcome, that you've been determined to overcome?
Okay, I think in terms of my work, the biggest challenge is has been moving away from the corporate world. Having said what I said at the start of this interview, my heart wanted to move away.
Mhm.
My head struggled. My head struggled
Mhm.
because my head only knew the past and the present. You know, they say your head sees the past and the present, and your heart sees the possibilities. So my heart saw the possibilities. My head didn't. My head is only just now catching up because my head is finally realizing she's not changing. She's not going back to a 9 to 5. So I need to catch up, right? So that that was a huge challenge. I'm gonna share a personal challenge. I came out, as it were. I came out as a
Uh-huh.
speaker and a coach on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm going to share a personal challenge because I think somebody needs to hear this. I didn't come out on LinkedIn until a couple of weeks ago
Okay.
because LinkedIn is where I had my professional image,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
which I had to maintain. And I didn't want my professional colleagues to think, what's she doing? She's speaking and coaching. Yeah, right. She probably can't get a job, you know? And so this courage I talked about at the start was still a struggle. I didn't have, and again to the title of your podcast, determination, I didn't have the courage or the determination. Is it determination? Yeah, I lacked the determination to come full out because I was still hiding myself. It's only been a couple of weeks that I came out on LinkedIn, and I knew when that happened that I had gone all the way with this. Now my professional colleagues know that that's what I do, and now I can safely say, "This is me."
That's right. This
Yeah,
is you. You're here.
this is me. Yeah,
It's out.
I'm here. Exactly, I'm here. This is me.
This is how you rolling.
That's how Roland
That's
said.
right. That's right.
Indeed, indeed.
So, so in answering your call, and
Mhm.
you've been on the Les Brown Summit. You've come out. You're a speaker. You're coaching. You let the world know. What are your future plans?
Oh, my future plans. So you know from being a John Tallarico coachee, I've got big goals,
Oh
Sid,
yeah.
big goals. I want the big stage. I want. I'm coming for Les Brown, as he says. I'm coming for him. He's supposed to be scared wherever he is. What are my plans? My plans are to help one woman at a time. Help one woman at a time. If I can help two at a time, it's a bonus. But just to help one woman at a time, to just come out and just say, this is me. I'd like to write more books. I've just finished one book. I'd like to write more books. I would love to coach as many women as would love to have me coach them. And I would love to grow my speaking business. Those are my plans, Sid.
That's great. Great. So you say you've written one book.
I've written one book. It's
So
it's
far.
it's 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 in the editing process. It's literally a book that encourages people. I mean, I was writing to a midlife woman,
Mhm.
but I don't think it's only relevant to a midlife woman. But that was the person I had in my mind when I was writing it. It's a compilation of lessons, if you like, a journey of
Okay.
finding yourself, where we start at the beginning with who are you?
Mhm.
And we work through mindset issues, we work through goals, we work through dreams, and we end in this place I'm calling the inner sanctuary. It's a bit like a spa. Think of a mind spa, Sid, a
Okay.
mind spa. Think of going to a physical spa,
Uh-huh.
except it's in your mind, and you're working through the bits of your mind where you start not knowing who you are, and you go through a journey where you end up at the other end and you know yourself. And this all happens in the inner sanctuary. This is where the light bulb goes on in your head and you're like, boom. And so you
Uh,
walk into this spa thinking, now what? And you come out of the spa and you say, this is me. That's the book I've just finished writing.
Wow. That sounds great.
You can have a copy, Sid. You can have a copy.
I would definitely grab a copy. Mind spa. Yeah, we all need to go to a spa.
Right, indeed. Right,
Yeah.
right. Yes, yes.
That is great. So what type of advice would you have for somebody who they're looking to go on their own journey, answer their own call? They had that call in their heart, and like you said, their head is saying something completely different. The committee is having meetings in their head, and they don't know how to adjourn that meeting. What kind of advice would you have?
So speaking of the committee, before I even answer the question, speaking of the committee, when the committee used to come into my head, not only did I used to actually invite them in, I'd chair the meeting, I'd write the minutes, and I'd distribute the minutes, Sid. I was a one-man stop shop for that committee. So what would I advise people to do? It's a journey, Sid. It's a journey. I wish I could say there was one pill that I could give you that will solve all your questions in your head. It's a journey. But if I could distill it into maybe three main buckets. The first would be listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. Your heart knows what you want, and your heart speaks to you. Your heart knows the possibilities. So get out of your own way. Take your head out of the picture and let your heart take control. Then you bring your head back in to help you to make it happen. That will be the first thing. Listen to your heart. Mm-hmm. I can't speak on anything to do with finding yourself without talking about accepting responsibility. Mm-hmm. So it's accept responsibility. That would be my second thing. You need to be determined, back to the word determined, to say, it doesn't matter how I got to where I am. The fact remains that I am actually here. Yeah. And it's my personal responsibility, one, to acknowledge the fact that I'm here, not bury your head in the sand, yeah. And two, to accept the mantle, the baton to move forward from here. It's my life, and I need to take control of it. And the third thing may or may not surprise you, and that's gratitude.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever the situation is in your life, wherever you find yourself, you cannot achieve greatness without being grateful. And I just want to say three things about gratitude, if I may, Sid. One is be grateful for the simple pleasures in your life, everything, the things you take for granted, having a bed to sleep in at night, having hot water to have a shower in the morning, having eyes to see, having a job to go to, having a bus, a car, a train to take you to work. The simple things that we usually complain about. Oh, the bus is late. Oh, my car is this. Be grateful that you have it. It's so important. 2 out of 3. 2, be grateful for the challenges that you've had in your life that you've overcome. Those challenges that before you got through them, you thought were so huge, you didn't think you would get through them, but you did. And look back on those challenges and recognize how far you've come from the days you had the challenges. And the third thing is be grateful for the current challenges. Why? Because they are the blessings in your life. When you overcome them, you will recognize that they were in fact lessons. As Les Brown says, challenges are God-ordained blessings, beautifully wrapped up as challenges.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look for the opportunity in those challenges.
That is great.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Lovely advice. And maybe I should explain the committee to those who are watching who may not know. In the Thinking to Results training, our awesome coach, John Tallarico, talks about the committee. And the committee is those group of thoughts that usually form in the morning when you're in bed, you're not quite asleep, and you're not quite awake right before you have to get up, and you start having all these negative thoughts in your head. You're thinking about stuff that happened yesterday, 5 years ago. You're even thinking about stuff that hasn't even happened yet that you think is going to happen. And these thoughts form a committee. They form a meeting in your mind that you did not authorize. And you have to adjourn that meeting so that you can start your day on a positive note, or else the committee will have that negative meeting in your head, and that'll set the tone for your day. That's how you'll be the rest of your day. And so that's what we're talking about when we mentioned the committee. And lovely advice. That was some awesome advice you gave, NA. So as we're about to wrap up, what books, including your own, would you recommend people to read, or any other type of material that you think will help people on their journey?
That's such a great question, Sid. And there's so many. My book list has grown so much in the past few months. The first one I'll mention clearly is my book, Your Life Book, which will be coming out shortly. The second one is You've Got to Be Hungry by Les Brown. It was when I read that book, I said to myself, you have got to do your own book. That book really inspired me. The third book is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The fourth is, I'm just going to say a fourth, The Power of Positive Thinking. I think those four. Oh, there's a fifth actually, In Pursuit of Purpose by Miles Monroe. Sorry, I had to bring Miles Monroe into this. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's a lot of good material for people to ingest, to work on, to study.
Yeah.
All right. And so how can people get in contact with you? How can they find out more about what you do? How can they get that book when it comes out? How can they get that course when that comes out, and be in contact with you so they can find out more about what you do?
Wonderful. So they can follow me. They can find me on Facebook. My name, NIOB. They can go to my website, NIOB.com. They can follow me on Instagram, which is at Ziano_speaks. That's Z, or as you say in the US, Z. ZIANO_speaks. If you don't remember that, just go to my website and I will find you.
Great. That's great. And it has been a pleasure having you. It was awesome hearing your story of answering your call, of using the 3 Ds to success: determination, determines destination in your life. This is Sid Owsley from the Determination Determines Destination podcast, where we share stories of people who use the 3 Ds to success: determination, determines destination in their life, to overcome challenges and obstacles. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, Sid.